If you're a business owner, online marketer, or just someone fascinated by the psychology behind why we click, scroll, and buy, then this video is for you.
Okay, let's go.
Today we'll be diving into what I call the dopamine loop of ads, why that first 3 seconds is everything. We'll look into exactly what happens in your brain when you get hooked and why advertisers are ethically hijacking your brain to make millions of dollars in sales. We're talking neurology, evolutionary psychology, and yes, some real life examples that hit you right in the limbic system. Let's start with a simple truth. Your attention is currency, not metaphorically, literally. Companies like Meta, Google, and TikTok are valued on how long they can keep you engaged and how effectively they can sell your eyeballs to advertisers. In fact, neuroscientists and evolutionary psychologists now refer to it as attention residue, which is the psychological drag left behind every time your brain has to switch focus. It's expensive for your brain, and that's why it's so selective. So if you're running ads, you have to earn that attention fast. And by fast, I mean in 3 seconds or less. Why 3 seconds? Because that's all it takes your brain to decide whether it's going to keep watching or keep scrolling. And it's largely an unconscious decision. Your prefrontal cortex, that rational, logical decision maker, isn't the first responder here. That honor can be attributed to your amygdala and your midbrain. These regions process novelty, threat, and reward. Here's what fires in the first 3 seconds of seeing an ad. Your amygdala scans for threats or relevance. Is this important? Your striatum, which is connected to dopamine and habits, asks, does this feel good? And your thalamus, which routes sensory input, asks, what is this? If your ad triggers curiosity, novelty, or even a tiny reward spike, like humor or shock, that releases dopamine, and this dopamine motivates you to keep watching. One of the most viral ad sequences over the past 5 years was the launch ad for Dollar Shave Club. What was the first line? Hi, I'm Mike, founder of Dollar Shave Club. Then he walks into the warehouse and he says, our blades are great. Identity, humor, pattern interrupt, all triggering dopamine. Now here's the twist. The brain loves novelty, but only when it feels safe. This is why pattern interrupt is so crucial. When someone views a typical ad, someone smiling, soft music, something boring, the brain tunes out. But if you open with a dramatic zoom in, an unexpected sound, or a direct question like, have you been lied to about your health? The brain perks up. It's called the orienting response, and it's been hardwired into our brains since survival days. We are programmed to pay attention to uncertainty. This is also why motion and face-to-camera video content performs the best on social media. Our brains have evolved to detect movement and facial expressions quickly. Within milliseconds, we're asking ourselves, do I trust this person? Here's a real-world example. We recently helped a window covering company drop their cost per lead by 42% just by adding face-to-camera introductions. We did a similar thing with a solar company by introducing a dynamic hook. If you're worried about your energy costs going up next month, watch this. That line alone sparked curiosity, it hit a pain point, and it was paired with someone on the camera holding an inflated power bill. That captured immediate attention. Dopamine, emotion, relevance. So now we've captured the attention. How do we keep it? This is where the dopamine loop comes in. The brain releases a bit of dopamine from novelty or intrigue, and it wants more. But it needs uncertainty or incomplete information to stay interested. This is where techniques like the Zeigarnik effect come in. The brain recalls unfinished tasks far easier than completed ones. This is why we use open loops in advertising. Here are 3 examples. Most people get this completely wrong. Here is why your ad budget keeps disappearing, and I'll show you how, but first, each of these promises something, but not yet. That creates tension in the brain, and that must be resolved. Dopamine gets released by anticipation rather than the reward itself. Combine that with rhythmic editing, changing scenes every 2 to 3 seconds, and micro questions such as, sound familiar? And you'll keep the loop going. Here's a pro tip. If your ad goes for longer than 15 seconds, add a second hook at 7 to 9 seconds in. For example, but here's the part nobody tells you. Now let's talk ethics, because yes, all of this is effective, but power without responsibility is dangerous. Dopamine triggers are the same mechanisms used in gambling apps and social media scrolling. But as ethical marketers and business owners, we have to make sure that we're using them the right way, to help, not to manipulate. We earn attention to deliver real value, to solve real problems, and to help the person watching. That means that your ad must actually deliver what it promises. Otherwise, your dopamine loop is a trap, not a journey. So here's a practical summary. Use motion, faces, or unexpected statements in the first 3 seconds. Ask questions that spark curiosity or challenge assumptions. Use visual pattern interruptions, like changing zoom, colors, angles, lighting. Open a loop that the brain naturally wants to close. And reward the viewer with actual value, like insights, solutions, or next steps. So if you've ever wondered why some ads work while others don't, it's rarely about budget. It's about biology. When you understand how attention works neurologically, you start to realize that you're not even fighting for 5 seconds. You're fighting for milliseconds. If you can master this, then your marketing becomes unstoppable. If you like this video, feel free to leave a comment letting me know which concept you like the best.
Okay, let's go.